Welcome, everyone. This is Michael Bolling from CHSN, and I have the pleasure to speak to head coach of the Chicago Blackhawks, Jeff Blashill. Coach Blashill, how are you doing today?
I'm good, Michael. I'm good. Good to be with you here on this fine summer day.
Yes, really excited for a lot going on this week with the Blackhawks. We're looking at the draft, but let's take a step back quickly. It's been a little over a month since you were named head coach of the Blackhawks. What does it mean for you to lead this team in Chicago as we approach their centennial season?
Yeah, I mean the fact that this is the centennial season is pretty remarkable. I've been pretty lucky in my career, opportunities to be in some cool places at cool times, and this is certainly one of them. And I think when you have the chance to coach an original six team, a team with as much history and success and history of success that the Blackhawks have had, and understanding, what this team's meant to the city, having been a Midwestern person my whole life, either living in Michigan, living in Ohio, living in Indiana, I've certainly understood, the importance of the Blackhawks, what it means to the fan base, what the fan base means to the city of Chicago. So it's cool times. It's a good time to be a part of it. And then with that said, too, I think exciting times in a sense that, we've got a lot of good young players and young prospects in our player pool. And that won't translate into the immediate success that, I think everybody wants, but it'll translate, I think, into long-term success if we do it right. So, it's, I think, in a lot of different ways, exciting times, and certainly I'm excited to be a part of it.
Yeah, no, you mentioned exciting times and obviously looking towards success in the future. In another interview, you mentioned you want guys to last in the league and play good hockey for as long as they can. What does that take from the player side, and then how can you help as the head coach?
Well, I think number one, it takes a commitment level from the player side, a commitment in two different probably areas. One is a commitment to their craft, and that is both off the ice, how they take care of their body in so many different ways now. Science is so advanced now. These professional athletes are held to such a standard by themselves, really, that their bodies have to be optimized. They have to be optimized with sleep. They have to be optimized with nutrition. They have to be optimized with how they train and work out and prepare their bodies for vigorous seasons. They have to be optimized for recovery. So, that part of the commitment from the player is paramount to having a long career in the National Hockey League. And then the second part of it, I think, is just a commitment to playing winning type hockey. And I think, ultimately, there's been some good players in the league that were really talented, but didn't maybe commit themselves to winning hockey. And then their careers were much shorter than what they could have been. And because ultimately, none of us in the league want guys that necessarily just get points. We want guys that produce offense at a greater level than they give up, and that ultimately translates into winning hockey. If you outscore your opponent every single night, you win every game, and that's obvious. That's obvious. I get it, but if you can do that from a chance perspective, if you outchance your opponents every night by creating more than you give up, you're going to win the majority of the games. And so, it's a simple philosophy, but it's really, I think, a key thing to long-term success. And the quicker I think players learn how important it is to be able to produce offensively while also being very good defensively. That's the trick in the league. And the guys that do that, I think, play the longest, and the guys that do that win the most.
Yeah, and I think your previous stop, obviously with Tampa, as the coach, how do you put these players in the best position to get the most out of them, whether it's film study or things of that nature, to kind of prepare the team on an individual level for the greater good, and obviously translating into victories?
I've always looked at it from a coaching perspective that my job is to get the very most out of every one of our players, and ultimately for us to maximize our team, you have to do that, and that's done a lot of different ways. I think overall it's certainly done by, number one, creating a high standard, a standard of excellence, and then demanding that people meet that standard. And when they don't meet that standard, that there's a consequence. I know just even from parenting, if you don't have a consequence, you don't change behavior. And so you have to have a consequence in when guys aren't meeting those high that high standard. I also think a big part of our job is to instill and help create confidence and help create an understanding of each player, of how they can be great, number one, in the league, how they can be great on our team, in what that looks like, and how to get there. And so a lot of guys come in the league and they were scorers at the level they were at. Which makes sense, there's so many more teams and everything funnels to the top in the National Hockey League. Well, as you funnel to the top, not everybody can be that first line scorer, that first power play guy that plays the half wall. And so you got to find your how you can be important in the league, how you can be important on the team, and what can separate you. And I think, and then celebrating those things and making sure guys understand that exact play, whatever that play is what's going to allow you to be a great player in this league, and what's going to allow you to be a great winner in this league, and important on our team, and create longevity for your career. And so I think, it kind of really boils down to those two things. One, you create that standard, you hold guys to that standard, and two, you help instill and create confidence in every player by going through the processes I talked about.
And speaking of process, this is a big week for the organization. The draft is upcoming. I know you've been on the job for just about a month. So what are you most looking forward to this week? I know it's probably a very crazy process, as you evaluate talent. But tell me what you're looking forward to as we get closer to the NHL draft.
The reality of the NHL draft in comparison to, certainly football, from what I understand, I don't know basketball well enough. Baseball is probably more similar to hockey in a sense that you draft players and they're not usually on your team the next year. Every once in a while that top pick will be, as 𝗏𝗏 was, but for the most part, they might show up 2 years later, might show up 3 years later. And the reason I say that is we're also drafting in the NHL from so many different levels, different leagues across different countries. Some guys are playing high school hockey, which is very good in Minnesota. Some guys are playing in the KHL or the Swedish Elite League, playing pro hockey. Some guys. So the reality of the coach's impact on the draft is very, very minimal, to be honest with you. The impact on the draft comes from your scouting staff. And, one of the things I talked about during my press conference was one of the attractions to this job is my belief in this scouting staff, led by Mike 𝗏𝗏, and the job that they've done prior to me getting here. I think one of the best ways to kind of understand how good the scouting staff is to look at the draft picks, and honestly, I think they've done an excellent job, and certainly it's helped by having a large number of picks. That was kind of the decision management made, and I think that's a correct decision when you're trying to build a talent pool from the draft. But I think the scouting staff's done an excellent job, and so I talk to them just honestly, just to get a feel for what their what the guys are looking like, which guys bring what attributes. They won't even tell me their inner secrets of which guy they like the most. I think there's pluses and minuses to each guy, and I am confident. Certainly with that number 3 pick, we're going to get a real good player, and hopefully whoever that real good player is can help us sooner than later. But I don't think it's going to be, anything where they have an immediate impact on the team.
Understood. Yeah, that's really exciting. I mean, from a fan perspective, really exciting to see what we, can do within the draft and the moves that we can make. But we've talked quite a bit of hockey at this point. Want to get your take on Chicago. Obviously, major market. You're from the Midwest. I'm sure you've taken trips to Chicago your whole life. What are some fond memories you have of the city? And what are you most looking forward to as you transition and move to Chicago?
I have actually spent a good amount of time, a decent amount of time in Chicago in kind of differing kind of settings. I've gone there with friends and had some weekends. I've gone there with my family. I'll probably tell more family stories than I will the friend stories. But I played a roller hockey tournament there a
Wow.
long time ago with a team named the Outdoor Traders. It was with my buddies from Des Moines, Iowa, and we had a great time. I won't go into what that great time meant, but with my family, we would come and just kind of do a lot of the different tourist things and but really enjoy this city. It's honestly been a it was kind of our getaway and not vacation, so to speak, but weekend getaway. And we'd go and enjoy a couple days in the city, see White Sox games, see Cubs games, go to the aquarium, all those kind of things. And honestly, just the energy in the city. I love the energy. Just being back, I guess it was almost a month ago now, but being back in Chicago and it's one of those few cities in America where you walk the streets and there's just that vibrancy and that energy and certainly that part of it's awesome. So it offers so much. We're excited to be a part of it as a family. We're excited. I'm excited to be a part of it as the head coach.
I got to go back to the roller tournament. Did you guys win? Were you guys successful?
That's a good question. I honestly don't even remember. I remember lots of things, but I don't remember if we won. I don't think we won. I think it was close. There was a few almost brawls. I think it was. I was a goalie on ice, but in the roller hockey tournament, I did not play goalie. Thank God, because it was outside and it was the middle of July and it was hot. That's what I remember more than anything else, is trying to just survive the day and then survive the night.
Well, it sounds like you had a good time. That's awesome. All right, so let's play a little this or that before we wrap up. Chicago, kind of adjacent, but are you more likely to cheer from the 300 level as a fan, or would you rather be right up against the glass?
Oh, that's a good question. In general, when you're talking hockey, for me, first of all, I probably fit in better in the 300 level. To be honest with you, I'm a kid from 𝗬𝗰𝗶𝗹 Michigan, and there was no glass seats when I was growing up. I can tell you that. So probably the 300 level. I'd also say I think you see the game way better in the 300 level. So I think both from as long as the beer line wasn't too long, I'd fit in good at that three. The one thing you like about some of those glass seats, if they're associated with those clubs, then the beer line short and that makes it good. So it just depends how the beer line is, maybe.
That's awesome. Okay, let's do some cuisine. Deep dish pizza or thin crust pizza?
So my kids have made fun of me because I've got asked a lot about pizza over the last during my time when I was going through my kind of media tour there earlier in the month, and I couldn't say enough about pizza. I kept talking about how much I like pizza. The reality is I love pizza, and I think it depends on the actual pizza and the day. I love both. If it's a thin crust, though, I end up eating, I guess in both cases, I eat way too much of it. But I said it earlier, you throw pepperoni and sausage and I'll eat it thick or thin. It won't matter. But I love both. This will give me an opportunity for my kids to mock me again, though. I like that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm very much the same way. I'm a pepperoni and sausage pizza guy. And I do know what you mean. It's kind of like a streaky pizza eater when you're eating tavern style. It feels like there's no end in sight when you're rifling those down. But
if it's thin, I want that crust crispy, though.
Well done. Absolutely. Love it. Okay. This one is a little more controversial on the cuisine side. Chicago style hot dog or Detroit coney dog?
Again, that's a tough question. And again, you're going to be disappointed. You're going to think my answers are Switzerland, but they're not. I love to eat. And so because I love to eat, there's times where that coney's unreal and throw that chili and onions on there and I'll mow that down. I'm not a big mustard guy, but on a hot dog, I don't mind yellow mustard. It's not like my favorite thing, but like when you mix it in with the rest of, in either case, I like it. The Chicago dogs, I probably have ate more of those lately. I've tried to stay away from maybe the chili dogs. I've gotten older. I don't know, but honestly, I can't say enough about how much I like to eat. So I'm probably moving to the wrong city. I'll my weight fluctuate. My suits won't fit by the end of the year.
Well, if you're winning games here, I'm sure you won't have to be shelling out much money to pay for
Yeah,
those dinners. So maybe that's a
yeah,
good, maybe that's a
yeah,
gift and a curse.
yeah.
Okay,
Exactly.
couple more. Lakefront bike ride or river walk stroll?
Probably honestly, probably the lakefront bike ride. And the reason I say that is there's just so few. It could be a stroller bike ride; it wouldn't matter. But just being on the lakefront, that the Great Lakes are such a kind of rarity in the world, and so when you get opportunities to be around them, I mean it's awesome. I've spent a lot of time on I don't want to say the other side of Lake Michigan, but my family's lived in Traverse City, Michigan for a long time, so kind of spent a lot of time on that side of it. I love Lake Michigan. I think it's gorgeous. I think it's so it's so ocean-like without some of the issues you get with an ocean like hurricanes. So to me, anything around that lakefront, I love. Not that I don't love the Riverwalk, and actually, Chicago's obviously got an unreal Riverwalk. When cities do a good job around those are awesome too. But just the lake is a unique thing.
Absolutely. And then finally, would you rather be featured in a local business commercial or play yourself in a Chicago Fire cameo?
That I've done one commercial in my time and got mocked for that for like at least a full season. So I think I'd rather go with the cameo. I can't I can tell you I don't watch tons of TV, so I don't know the show great. But I'll go with a cameo. I'm guessing they won't want me though.
Well, their local pub in the show is called Molly's, and the bar is actually called Lottie's. Great food, great beer. Maybe we'll have to get you over there, and maybe we'll both be on the show.
Yeah, then we can both get on. I'll do that with you for sure. I could play a cameo sitting in the pub. I can do that well.
Well, I appreciate you, Coach Blashill, for your time. I know you're busy. We're really thankful to have this time with you here at CHSN, and good luck in the draft and this upcoming season.
All right, Michael. Thank you for having me.